You're watching Newsday TV. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ken Bufa. One person was killed and 3 others were injured after a fire destroyed 2 homes in Bellmore. This is what it looked like. The flames spread from one house to another. Firefighters tried to rescue the victim, but could not get to them in time. Later in the day, the charred homes were demolished, and authorities have not said what caused the flames. And a Roosevelt man has been sentenced to 20 years to life for fatally stabbing his ex-girlfriend in front of their 2-year-old child. 44-year-old Jose Fuentes Zabala pleaded guilty to the 2024 murder. Prosecutors say he stabbed Brenda Guadalupe Alfaro Cantara 35 times in a fit of jealousy. Today in court, he apologized to her family. And actor James Van Der Beek has died after a battle with colorectal cancer. The Dawson Creek star was 48 years old. Van Der Beek also starred in movies including Varsity Blues and Rules of Attraction. He's survived by his wife and 6 children. And Governor Kathy Hochul visited a Deer Park auto body shop today to talk about her effort to lower car insurance premiums.
But they should not be given a payday for millions of dollars for an accident they intentionally caused. It will also make it easier to prosecute these staged accidents, strengthen penalties for those who break the law.
Hochul says she wants to reform state law to prevent injury lawsuits from staged crashes. New Yorkers pay $1,500 more per year for car insurance compared to the national average. All right, let's take a quick look at tomorrow's weather. It was feeling warm today, although we're just under the 40s. Tomorrow you can see we're in the mid-30s. You can see partly cloudy skies as well. Of course, we'll have that 7-day forecast for you to see how the weekend is shaping up. One person is dead and 3 others are hurt after a fire in Bellmore. Virginia Huey shows us what happened and what slowed up firefighters who are trying to put out the flames.
It was horrific, really horrific.
A raging inferno lit up the night sky over Chapman Avenue in Bellmore at around 4:30 a.m. Neighbors watched in horror.
We saw it go from one house to the next house and fully engulfed the second house.
The house went up in seconds. I never saw something like it. The flames were up 20 feet up in the air.
It was such heavy fire, it was just coming out of both sides of the house.
At least 100 firefighters responded. They tried to enter the burning home where the fire originated to rescue a trapped resident, but couldn't get through. Fire officials say 1 man died in the first house. Another resident in the house and 2 police officers were treated for smoke inhalation. People in the second house escaped unharmed. The Bellmore fire chief says his crew faced challenging conditions, including a hydrant covered in snow and ice that had to be dug out.
We're also hammering water supply. One of the hydrants was not dug out. We had to dig out really tight if you want to get close. Fire hydrant was led to a slight delay of the water.
In the light of day, a bird's eye view shows the devastation. Both houses burned to the frames and collapsed after being fully engulfed in flames. Crews spent most of the day tearing down the charred remains of the homes. The cause of the fire is under investigation.
I think it's horrible. It's heartbreaking, really, just heartbreaking.
For Newsday TV, I'm Virginia Huey.
It's official. Nassau County Executive Bruce Blakeman is the Republican candidate for governor. Doug Geed has the story.
Come November, these 4 Republicans will be on the ballot seeking the top statewide offices in New York. Nassau County Executive Bruce Blakeman is leading the ticket, hoping to become the first Republican governor in New York in 20 years. The last Republican to hold that office spoke on what was the final day of the state GOP convention.
So I'm here to tell you it can be done.
George Pataki was a little-known state senator from Peekskill who pulled off an upset win in the 1994 governor's race.
What was your formula in 94, and would that still apply today to Blakeman?
The formula is the same, which is not to run a partisan campaign, to run a campaign based on ideas and issues. Our taxes are too high. The quality of life is deteriorated. And that's a message that resonated when I ran, and it's a message that still exists today.
After Pataki spoke, Blakeman's choice for lieutenant governor took the stage. Todd Hood is the sheriff of Madison County in the Syracuse area.
We will fight every day, every single day, for families who just want safe streets, good schools, and a future here in New York.
In his nearly half-hour acceptance speech, Blakeman hit on the themes that have been central to his campaign: crime and affordability.
Businesses are leaving the state in record numbers. Family and seniors are being priced out of their home.
The 70-year-old Blakeman said he would cut taxes for the middle class and lower energy costs by reducing what he called hidden fees and taxes in utility bills. Blakeman has been a staunch ally of President Trump and mentioned him briefly in his speech, thanking him for an endorsement video that was played for the crowd and adding this comment.
When it comes to President Donald J. Trump, I will always have his back.
The music and the applause have ended. The banners are down and the convention hall's being cleaned up. Now for Republicans comes the hard part, traveling across New York looking for votes in a state where Democrats outnumber Republicans by a more than 2-to-1 margin. In Garden City for Newsday TV, I'm Doug Geed.
AI is everywhere these days. In schools, it can help students with things like innovation and reading. For teachers, it saves time on lesson planning and grading. But do the risks of artificial intelligence outweigh the benefits? A new report says yes. Joining me now to talk more about this is Newsday education reporter Darwin Yanis, Roberto Joseph, professor and acting chair of the Teaching, Learning and Technology Department at Hofstra University, and Kings Park Superintendent Timothy Egan. Thank you all for joining us. We really appreciate it. Darwin, we want to start with you. You reported on this. We just highlighted some of the benefits of AI among some other benefits as well. But this new report by the Brookings Institute found that AI is also risky. How so? Tell us about that.
At this point, the authors of the study say that it could hurt the foundational development of a child. It could create dependency and an over-reliance on this that could hurt a child's creativity. It could undermine trust with educators, and it could just impact other, ability of a child to learn.
It makes sense because, I feel like a lot of the time, if you have the easy option, you're going to take it. And that's not just children, right? I'm sure that's adults as well. Like, we're all pulling out our calculators when we're figuring out the tip at a restaurant and things like that. So it is interesting to think about. But Roberto, AI, as we know, isn't always 100% accurate, right? It depends kind of what you're looking into. You say that users could run into some trouble with that. Tell us about that concern.
Well, AI unchecked could be detrimental. So, for example, if a kid is writing a paper and they prompt AI for the answer, the paper, and you might have the AI system, ChatGPT, spit out the paper with unchecked resources. So then they hand in the paper, and it's not checked for proper resources. So that's an example of AI used without checks and balances.
We need to be careful, for sure. Timothy, let's get over to you. We know this is being used in schools. How are you guys teaching your students about AI over in Kings Park?
So, number one, making sure that our graduates can transition into the workforce is super important. So, in my mind, teaching kids to use AI safely and appropriately is not a maybe, it's really a must. Schools are governed by what's called New York State Ed Law 2D. So what that means is we need to be really careful and protect students' data. So we are introducing our students, K-12, to various AI tools and devices, but making sure that they're doing so in a safe manner and making sure that their student data is protected.
Important to find that balance for sure, because you're right, you don't want to set them up to fail in that they don't know how to use AI responsibly, but also, want to be careful. So Darwin, the report does have a number of recommendations for the use of AI because this is just our new reality, right? This is the life we are living. It's there. They're going to use it. What are some of those recommendations in how to responsibly use this?
Sure. So one of the recommendations they give in the study is when creating these educational tools to incorporate or to get input from educators, students, and other community members to make sure this is a good tool for students. Also to better prepare teachers so they can responsibly teach or use AI in a way that doesn't take away from that authentic learning experience. And also, when school systems go out to purchase or to acquire this technology, that they find things that have built-in privacy and security measures.
Timothy, let's get back over to you. Do you think schools should be embracing AI, kind of all things considered?
Absolutely. You know, the primary goal of schools is to prepare the future workforce, and if our students are going to be successful in competing for jobs when they leave high school, you know, they need to be able to use AI. You know, we used to say AI isn't going to replace people. It'll replace people who aren't using AI. But we're also finding that's no longer true. There are certain jobs that and entry-level positions that no longer exist, that AI has taken over. So, you know, it's absolutely important that schools prepare students for post-high school work and future study. And AI is just embedded in everything that we do these days. It's really important.
Roberto, you mentioned some concerns about some of the information through AI not being, you know, correct. Do you think AI is something that should be regulated?
Yeah, I think in some ways we should regulate AI. We shouldn't allow the technology just to come into the schools. So, in other words, like people like myself, like Timothy, we need to be at the table when AI is being developed and to give our ideas to the technology. So I think we should be first and foremost consulted on these kinds of technologies.
It's like a group discussion, because this is new. This is new. We're all kind of learning at the same time, so definitely an important discussion considering the future of our children, the future of all of us with AI. So thank you all for being here, part of this discussion. Again, my thanks to Darwin Yanis, Roberto Joseph, and Timothy Egan for being part of this discussion. You can read more about Darwin's story on our website, newsday.com. Thank you all.
All right, let's take a look at your 7-day forecast to see how the weekend is shaping up. Now listen, today it was rather warm compared to what we had to deal with over the last weekend. It was blisteringly cold. And you can see Thursday, Friday, Saturday, we are dry. Temps in the 40s Saturday and Sunday. But it looks like rain will be moving in next week. At least it's not snow.
Long Island weather is brought to you by PTRC.
For more on the stories you've seen here today, head over to Newsday.com. Click Get More below the Newsday TV video box. I'm Ken Buffa. More news coming up.
Watch Newsday TV on the big screen. Use the remote to activate Siri, Alexa, Roku, or the Google Assistant on your streaming device. Say, install Newsday. Newsday TV, covering Long Island like no one else can.